we're going to talk about some units, and specifically we're going to talk about what we call English, or otherwise known as imperial units. And we're specifically going to talk about things for involving length. So we're going to deal with, we're going to specifically deal with things like, well, basically like inches, feet, yards, and miles. And the funny thing is, when you're dealing with our units of measure, you're going to discover that there's a couple different. There's actually some additional things that you could have, uh, like a league is 6 miles, or it takes. You've also got things like furlongs, and there's, I believe, I trying to remember if there's like 6 or 12 furlongs to 1 mile, but these are our typical things. So inches from sort of small to large, we've got inches, feet, yards, and miles. And so these are our units of length. And we should also talk about some equivalents. For example, 1 foot is 12 inches. 1 yard is 3 feet. And 1 mile is 5,280 feet. So this is sort of the basics of the units. But then we should talk about how to do unit conversions. And one of the first and most reliable ways of converting units is using what we call a unit fraction. And a unit fraction is just a, it's a well-chosen one. With equivalent measurements on the top and bottom. And what we use this for is we're going to use this to convert from one type of unit to another. So say I've got something like 60 inches, and I want to convert this into feet. Well, what I'll do is I'll just say, oh, I've got 60 inches, and I'll ask myself how many inches per foot. Well, it's 1 foot is 12 inches. And when I'm looking at this, our goal is to make this, or to put this together in a way that what's my original units will cancel out with something in the denominator of my unit fraction. But 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. But now when I do this, my only units will be left, would be feet. So 60 divided by 12, well, that would be 5. So 60 inches would be 5 feet. Or 60 times 1 would be 60 divided by 12. It's still going to be 5 feet. All right. Let's do it again. And we can work through several different types of these. If I wanted to know, say, if I wanted to say how many yards or how many inches in, say, 2.5 yards. Okay, that one might be a little bit tougher. But here's my starting point. I've got my 2.5 yards. And we can use, I didn't give us any unit conversion that was directly from yards to inches. So what I can do is I could say, well, I know that 1 yard is 3 feet. So when I do that, I would end up with the number of feet that would be in 2.5 yards. Well, I'm not done yet though. I would need to know how many inches in one. I'd, I'd need to go from feet to inches. So I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. And notice that as I do this, I'm just progressively changing my units. So when I do this, I would have, okay, 2.5 times uh, each of my units sort of cancels out with the next one. So the only units I would have left would be inches. And let's see here, 12 times 3 times 2.5, that would be this would be oh, what would I have? It would be 5 times. That would be 90 inches. So with this, you can sort of progressively change your units. Alrighty. And that's all I've got right now. I'll see you in the next video.